Do you not have a...
No, I use the mic.
Oh, yeah, there's number two here.
Oh, good. Okay, it's okay. Yes, okay, good.
So, yes, welcome.
Thank you very
to
much.
Canada.
Yeah.
And welcome to Vancouver. It's great to have you here. So, Edilson spoke at Summit last year as well, and Original My were one of the first cohorts at ETC Labs as well.
ETC Labs, for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me again. And last year, I was talking about digital identities and how to approach digital identities on blockchain. And this year, I will not be so technical, but I will try to show how to use blockchain to try to hack governments and notaries. And using blockchain for people outside the crypto space. That's the thing we are doing on a very hard way, and even in Brazil. And why Brazil? Brazil is our main market right now. And Brazil is a very bureaucratic country, okay? Probably you heard something about Brazil. And it's a very complex country. And one thing we have over there, we have 15,000 notaries. It's a lot of notaries in one country. It's a massive country, but 15,000 notaries, it's a lot. And notaries, in Brazil, you need to go to a notary every time. If you sign a document, you need to go to a notary to stamp a document. If there are more than one signature on that document, you need to go to each notary where the signature is registered to get a stamp on each signature. It's painful, it's time spending, we have a lot of queues and lines and a lot of stamps on documents. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy over there. That's why we created Original My, trying to fight bureaucracy and every kind of bad bureaucracy and corruption and frauding over there. Then we started a campaign, a global campaign about Hack the Notaries. And a lot of people was engaged on that Hack the Notaries campaign. But we did a bounty program. We received more than 10,000 pictures of real people holding the Hack the Notaries. And it was a very interesting campaign using around the world the Hack the Notaries. And we did a lot of noise about that. Then, what's Original My? We have a platform, an end-to-end platform. It's an engine platform for authenticating everything. We authenticate people, we authenticate signatures and authorizations, and digital content. And we use the Theorem Class. Why? Because it's very important to us, the immutability concept. It's very important. At the time that all happened, we were developing a project for signing public petitions on the Ethereum at that time. And it was a big problem to us. Well, returning to Original My. We will be a DAO someday, we don't know, but right now we are PDO. We are partially decentralized organization. We build things for people. We are like a gateway for blockchain. Kevin told me yesterday we are kind of gatekeepers of blockchain because people who knows nothing about blockchain can use our platform on a very easy way. We are working a lot on usability. We're providing services for people who are not crypto friendly yet. We will achieve that goal someday, but it's not our reality yet. And one interesting thing on using Ethereum Class, we are the top DApp doing transactions on Ethereum Class. It's mapped on DApp Direct. And we are always on the top 3 on document authenticity. And over there, on the bottom side, you can see signed documents. And sometimes people are signing documents even on our platform, and I'll show some examples of that. Well, how can we hack the governments using blockchain? For example, this is an NGO from Brazil. They built a platform for collecting signatures on public petitions. In Brazil, you have a law. If 1% of the population agrees on a public petition, it must be voted in the House of Representatives or even in the Congress. And the problem is collecting the signatures. They tried many times, 4 times exactly. And all the times they sent the signatures to the Congress and they said, okay, I can receive, but validate first. And how to validate all the signatures? Going to notaries. How to go to notaries with 1 million signatures around the country? It's very difficult. Sometimes the most famous public petition over there, it generated 2 tons of paper delivered to the Congress. Okay, it was 3 years for collecting all the signatures, impossible to validate. Then after creating Mudamos over there, Brazilian government has approved 2 laws that was created by people and voted by the politicians. That's an improvement of democracy. People are creating the regulations and the laws they think they deserve. And our politicians must hear that. That's the thing. And we created another thing after that. Some people, well, everyone is aware about fake news dissemination problem on social networks and defamation, online harassment, and everything like that. Then they asked us, please, can you authenticate that kind of web content before it being deleted? And to show, or to attach on a case and send to the court. Then we created a tool for making it easier, for proving that the web content was there at some time. And in Brazil, as also, it was judged as valid on a superior court, on the Court of Appeals over there. Now Brazil has legal precedence on proofs collected with our tools and authenticated on blockchain. And why it happened? Because we provided a certificate of authenticity. The judge or any kind of technician guy can see on blockchain the authenticity of the document authenticated over there. And it can prove, as he said, it can prove the veracity and the existence of the content. We did a notary partnership, so we have 15,000 notaries and we have a partnership with 1. The rest of them are trying to kill us. And the thing is, right now, Brazilians no longer need to go to a notary to stamp documents. It's a huge achievement on a country, on a very bureaucratic country like that. We have a civil union campaigns. In Brazil, as also we have a law, if you want to, it's not a marriage, but the civil union has the same rights. It has not the same name, but it has the same rights. You just sign a contract with your couple, and you have the same rights of a marriage. And last year, we had a problem. In the end of last year, we have a very conservative politicians governing Brazil right now. And they were afraid of losing the rights of civil union, the same-sex unions. They were very afraid, worried about losing that rights. And then we engaged a campaign over there for same-sex unions or on Original My, using Original My as a platform for signing the documents. And what happened? Those girls in the center, one was in Brazil, another one was in Portugal. But they went to engage a civil union. They signed the documents using Original My. And then this year they went to the consulate over there to convert that civil union on a real marriage. And it was approved and they are very happy. And as a gift to us, they created and printed that t-shirts. They used that t-shirts during the marriage in the consulate because of what Original My provided to them. And well, last year it was very interesting because the day before my presentation in the Theorem Class Summit, it happened in Brazil, the first blockchain voting, e-voting over there. The Brazilian FinTech Association used the Original My to sign the votes on the new board. And what happened after that? It was a kind of public voting. It was very easy because they just signed the vote. The vote was not secret and it was easy to do. After that, we developed for the Ethereum Class Labs the cohort, we wrote a protocol, the first protocol with a proof of concept and a white paper proving it's possible to have a secret voting on public blockchains. And we use a lot of protocols on that. ZK snarks, homomorphic encryption, stealth wallets, for doing the same kind of election, the process of an election, but using blockchain and minimizing the power of the people who administrates the voting session. So there's no secret ballots. The ballots can be counted by everyone, but you can't see who you voted. That's the thing. And you can check the white paper. It was reviewed many times, and it's working very, very good achievement we did this year. And the next step for HEL is we would do some private voting, because you need to test a lot, to challenge the protocol a lot before going for big votings, big elections. And I'm launching right now something who tried to solve, to help it to solve a problem in Brazil that was man-in-the-middle frauds in peer-to-peer transactions. It's a big problem for any market, even on cryptocurrencies. And mainly in cryptocurrencies, probably, because you never know who is the guy you are talking, and he sends the wallet for depositing the thing, but he could, maybe, you don't know, he could be a man in the middle and frauding the identity of the buyer. And then you send your crypto to a wrong wallet and you never see it again. And the thing is, in basically 3 steps, you can prove the identity of the person you are talking to. That's the thing. On the real world, on our world, on cryptography, we just sign a message. To us, to some of us, it's easy to sign in a message. We send some word, they sign the thing, sends back, and we can prove cryptographically who is the guy we are talking. But for people who are not in crypto, it's very difficult to understand the concept or to reproduce the concept. Then what we are trying to do is using a very good usability for that and avoiding, fighting against this kind of fraud. So we are proving, we are working with authenticity of things all the time. We use the Okra. It's an improvement of Okra because inside the protocol we are signing even the authorization for delivering personal data to be in compliance with some regulations around the world. And we did an improvement on that. And we got some awards, very important awards for Original My. And we are trying to help even Ethereum Classic to grow and to achieve more public on governments and regulators to make them aware about what we are doing. So we got the Global Impact Challenge because of Mudamos, that project for signing public petitions. We got listing by UN as a real blockchain use case doing social impact. It was very important to us. It happened this year. We got a recognition by European Union as a trusted blockchain application. And well, as all startups, we are always running, looking for money. If you are an investor, please talk to us. And the main awards, and that's Original My. What we are doing, we are improving the democracy. We really believe we are creating and empowering people, and we are building a better governance to us all. Thank you very much. Questions? Please.
I'm curious, so it's funny, I've actually been tracking the contract on DApp
Yeah.
I think you guys do so many transactions, like 800 every 72 hours, so it's a lot of transactions. I'm curious, how does the private keys work for the notaries? So, or for the notaries that you want to replace? Do they hold their own private keys? How do you...
Yeah, at the time, no. We have our own private key, and people send, we just manage the hashes. So the hashes is calculated on the browser, and we don't manage the document. We just receive the hash and send to the smart contract in a very, very simple way. And that thing with the notary, we do almost the same. We name it that project is as a pre-authentication. So we pre-authenticate the hash on the blockchain. We send the document to the notary. The notary electronically makes the stamp, that kind of stamp on the document, and sends back to the customer. And at that time, we have a layer of transportation of documents. We don't store the documents with us. But we have our own private key. And just on the digital identity, the keys are stored with the users as their personal data. So they have their keys, they have their personal data with them on their mobile apps, stored and encrypted in their mobile apps. We don't want to store anything, just the metadata that's needed. But for registering the things, we use own private key for doing that. We are like one user doing that. And you can see in the app direct that they show how many users are registering things in some here. So you can see over there users using that smart contract just to earn. That's just us. Okay, that's the thing. Because we are registering the things over there. But people can check just after. If they manage their own private keys for doing that, we know it's very easy for doing that. But they need to handle the cryptocurrency for paying the fees. Or we need to do another transaction to fund their wallet before receiving the registration provided by their own key. And there's it's not difficult, but there's some issues on usability about that. Then we prefer, we have 15 seconds of they need to trust on us. After that, they can go to the smart contract and check if it's registered by themselves. Okay? Please.
So you mentioned like immutability as like one of the reasons why you use ETC instead of Ethereum.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like last year when the 51% attack thing was happening, like does that put significant risk on your business, or how do you feel about that kind of thing? How big of a risk is it to you?
Yeah, I was very scary at that moment, for sure. But we have a kind of backup of everything that we register on a blockchain, on the Ethereum Classic. And we were monitoring every transaction and checking it. We built a routine for rechecking everything after 1 day, after 2 days, after 3 days, a week, to see if we could lose any transaction. So, yeah, and send again as a replacement. We have a lot of control about that. If we send something and it is not registering in 1 hour, we send again, and we have some controls. But because of the 51% attack, we needed to check more times, and the same routine is running yet, and probably will not turn it off because of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much. See you next year. Thank you.